Hi. Today the main topic is the system design of the design system. So this is just kind of recap video of the last video, because the I explained a lot of things the last video, but my pronunciation and my speech is not really good. So I'm just gonna retake this video a bit. So let's start. Um, like I just said, the design system is really hard, but it's actually some kind of URL library if you're able to make it. So design system is just the system of the design, not system of the design. It's just the rules of your design, which has some kind of characteristics of your company. Example, Netflix has their own theme, black and red, and their own button radius and button color and button action of it. So the color is gonna be different when there's button action like hover and disable, those kind of things. So that is kind of system, but the thing is that it has to be used in some kind of in a web application or the Android or iPhone. So this is so to recap. So the design system has to be utilized in some kind of lot of area. But let me focus on the web application because I'm a front end engineer. Um, let's just say you made a beautiful UI library based on the design system. And of course, you're just gonna publish into npm, which is the Node Package Manager, and because that is your library, and your coworker has to be using it. So the first part, your beautiful UI library, and that has to be hosted in npm. And of course, the UI library is just gonna be uh, handled by the GitHub repository. GitHub. So there's gonna be GitHub action of it. And after you publish into npm as a public, it's really easy. So what I mean it is really easy. To use this kind of UI library to some such as the designing tool, example Framer or Figma, but the Figma is really restricted for the individual. So I'm just gonna try to talk about the Framer first. So when you try to use Framer, you're able to learn about code component. So what is the code component? So code component it's just the transforming your React code into the framer based design. Example, you just write the button component and it will transform into real button UI, and you can use it in your own design. Example, you made the primer button in your React code, and this code component it will eventually show you to the UI of this code, and the designer can utilize the output of your React code. So that's really easy and very simple, and that is really amazing. But the thing is that the code component is to use the code component you have to use some kind of link of it. Why? Because your UI library is really huge. You cannot copy paste all of it. You cannot copy paste the how button React component is structured. So what you have to do is you wanna export the components. Example, you have a button or label or input or whatever. So you just want to use this component into Framer design tool, and inside of it code component. So we're just gonna change your React code into design. So designer can able to utilize it into some fancy design. But the question is, how do we like import this button from the npm package? But how? the best way is what I'm trying to say is the best and recommended way is using a link. We can just use link, and if you or URL, and when the framer um, access to the specific URL, you will able to get the only the code of the button of your UI library. So that has to be some kind of server on it, and but hopefully there's already some kind of server for the JavaScript module exporter, which is ESMSH. So what is ESMSH? ESMSH is just the server or CDN for the JavaScript module. It's gonna be the bundles for you, so you don't have to care about some kind of the performance of it, because it is gonna do the optimization for you. Example, your JavaScript code uh, is kind of rely on the the, the bundle of your environment, because React or Next.js the environment has to be compiled or transformed to plain JavaScript code. And but the hopefully ESMS is gonna be do everything for us, so we don't have to care like like some have some like I'm not worried about what we're gonna happen if we um, um, don't don't transform into the JavaScript file. So sorry about sorry about the long explanation. So to recap, we can just use ESMSH, just the CDN for the exporting your button components and npm. So you can just get the npm URL of your button, and you can just use it as a link. So that is very easy way. But the thing is that as just now the design system uh, and the URL so the URL library of a lot of companies isn't open source. So mostly it's private. So if it's private, you have to care about some kind of the restriction of it. For example, ESMSH is only accept the public node package. So you have to care about how we deploy this kind of ESMSH into our own. You have to care about if you're using npm private, how to handle those kind of cost of it. So, and I'm just gonna simplify it for you. If you can use, of course, you're gonna use GitHub for it, for the repository of your UI library, and you can release your library into npm, but private. You can use private, but private is kind of not really cost efficiency for this really big tech company. So I think they're gonna use the Nexus or the JFrog factory, which is the mirroring or process the node package registry, node package manager registry. It's just the storage of it. So that's not important. So after using npm private, this link is gonna be blocked. And of course, the ESMSH is you cannot use the public ESMSH. So what you have to do is you have to self-host the ESMSH. I'm just gonna use VPS, which is virtual private server. So you're just gonna host it using Docker. So Docker is just a container, just the virtualization of the operating system, and you can just run the ESMSH. And so after you publish into npm, and somehow you have to make the server triggers for the change set, and this had to be installed when there's change on the UI library based on the version of it. So you're just gonna detect of it. If there's some changes, install the package, and after installing package, make some kind of specific link on it to export this button label input component. And also, if you want to optimize it, you can use Cloudflare for the CDN before the framework. And CDN for the framework, and also to handle this kind of authentication between framework, you can use CDN or it was like worker thing, and you can use You can integrate the Framer, because also Framer, they recommend to utilize the Cloudflare Cloudflare server. So you can use the API of the fetch in Framer for the authentication. So for the auth, you can use Cloudflare yeah, and this. So auth fetch. So to recap, if you're using public, it's really easy. You can just after publishing to npm package manager, and you can you can use ESMSH for the public node package manager, and you can just send the link on the Framer. But if it's private, you have to care about those kind of those kind of costs of using npm private, and also if you're just using npm private, you have to care about this ESMSH, because ESMSH is for the public package, and you have to self-host the ESMSH via Docker pool. So Docker is the virtualization of the operating system, and you can just use the simple VPS, or if you're gonna create the big server, you don't have to use VPS. So whatever. So we just gonna have self-host the ESMSH, and we have to somehow detect the version of the npm, because we wanna renew the link of it. If you renew the link, and you can use the Cloudflare CDN for the optimization, the caching of those kind of things, because the component is really it's kind of big for it. So you can just use CDN, the Cloudflare, for the optimization, and after that you can integrate the Framer fetch API, which is also have some kind of efficiency between Cloudflare, because if you look at the docs on the Framer fetch, there's some kind of Cloudflare integration. So you can use CDN for the Cloudflare and Framer fetch for the authentication, and you can integrate it. Via using the workers in the Cloudflare. So I think this is it. Of course, you have to make some kind of Gore extension to change the real code into design. But this is too far, so we're just gonna talk about system design of the design system. So this is it. Have a nice day and see you next time. Bye bye.